We're on.
Ooh,
Yep, ready to roll.
rocking and rolling.
You have a new hat on today, Colby?
No, no, it's one of my dad's hats that for his pressure washing stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm gonna do some intro. Like you could tell, we are back away from the more serious topics because three of the four of us have hats on again.
I don't have collared shirts on.
Yeah, I'm the only exception in a regular thing. But 6 months of marriage in 2 days. That's
There you
wild.
go.
Man, I just passed that.
Tanner, you're coming up on a year, dude.
I am.
Yeah,
What month is it?
that's
April.
crazy.
Yeah, 2 months.
Oh, in 2 days.
Yeah,
I thought you said and 2 days. I was like, Darren, like I don't want to be the one to bring it up, but your math is not right. Like I don't know if you guys already celebrated, but
buddy, you forgot your anniversary. Nah, this is my Olive Garden shirt. Isn't it nice?
There you
Oh,
go.
wow.
Yeah.
Very pretty. Very pretty.
This is wake up and go to school.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, Kara was like, when you're going through your closet, you have to throw out a lot of lacrosse stuff. I was like, no. She's like, it's all you wear. I was like, they
That's
got
my
me
point.
out every day of the week. What else do I need to wear? Like jeans or practice gear, and then a t-shirt. I don't care what's on top. You know? Like,
Right.
what else do you need?
Nothing.
Right on. Well, you guys want to get going today?
Let's do it.
Get rolling.
Go. Also, I heard myself just kind of slipping into an accent as I said that. You guys ever find yourselves like talking in an accent and you kind of get stuck there and you can't break free?
Yep.
no,
Yeah.
not at all.
If I slip into a little southern drawl and I start letting that happen to myself, then it just progressively gets downhill, which depends on how you look at it. Could be uphill. It gets closer to Matthew McConaughey until I'm just like, all right, all right, all right. And then again, well, I'm stuck for at least a week.
Yeah. My parents got neighbors from England, and anytime I talk to them, I have to concentrate so hard to not slip into an accent because I'm like,
Oh,
you're
wait.
American. Speak how you do. Don't fall into the accent. You know, like it is so bad.
When I
I don't have a good accent. I don't have a good accent. So
Yeah, so
When I
it's
was-
not like you're mocking them.
yeah.
when I was working here in Cedar, there was a real estate agent that come up to me. He's like, had a British accent, and she's like, "Oh, can we get it in the garage?" I was like, "Oh, let me see what the garage code is." I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." She's like, "It's fine." Like I totally didn't even think about it. Slipped right into it and said garage instead of garage. I was like, "Oh, I feel so stupid right now."
If someone said that to me, I'd probably be like a baby garage. What what are we looking for?
Right?
Yeah.
Tough. All right. Well, today we want to talk a little bit about the past, a little bit about the future, more so what people from the past thought the future was going to be like. Because, man, are we a bunch of disappointments?
We're lame.
We got some good
Honestly.
things. We got some good things.
That's true.
Yeah, but like,
I also
I feel like the Cold War put a bad expectation for the next generation, you know? Because war obviously drives the industry, and we had that pushing us forwards, and then it's like, yeah, peacetime, even though like peacetime kind of gray area, but we just aren't trying to build weapons to blow each other up anymore, and it's really disappointing. It's overboard.
Well, not as publicly. We're not trying
Yeah.
to do that.
I mean, yes and no.
What were you saying, Matt?
It's more secretive. It's more secretive now.
Yeah.
on the down note.
Right on. Well, I picked up, or we found a website with some of the predictions from like the 1950s and 60s on what kind of stuff they thought we'd have, and we did good on some stuff. Really, anything made by Apple that was living up to expectations, but anything as far as transportation goes, you're kind of like, So, without further ado, let's hop into it. First one, they were thinking was the way of the future is solar powered cars. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Have we achieved that? Would you like to achieve that?
I think it's coming.
I think it'd just be very expensive, just because like not like solar powered houses and stuff are very expensive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think eventually though it'd be nice to be able to have just like all of the modes of transportation be done through solar energy, because then it's like you're not burning things to get people around. But also that's a lot less convenient.
The other one I thought about too, like a while ago. I don't know how like practical this is or not, but like it's an idea. Is like using magnets to move vehicles, like having
Like in
two.
Black Panther?
I don't know. I've never seen Black Panther, so I couldn't tell you.
It's at the
Like a
end.
mag
the
train?
train. Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Oh,
Oh.
I didn't know.
Mag
Yeah.
trains are a thing in Japan.
Japanese
Oh.
super.
No.
Everything's a thing.
Yeah,
there.
because Japanese know what they're doing somewhat. But anyways,
Yo,
so
I wanted to
this
fact
is
check
already there.
said it though, but the Toyota Prius, they've got solar panels on the roof.
Really?
Yeah, the newer models. Which honestly, I'm surprised Tesla didn't do that. You know,
Well, there was those one people that did it, right?
there was what? Oh yeah, there's been
They-
people that like redneck,
Like trailer. Yeah, they jury rig it to run off of solar so they don't have to stop.
yeah. But like if Toyota's been able to manufacture it onto the roof, I'm surprised Elon Musk wasn't part of that.
I'm surprised that he didn't use like, you know how there's some that have the completely transparent roofs?
Mhm.
I'm surprised instead of doing that for some, he didn't like have a completely solar paneled roof.
Yeah,
Probably for aesthetics, though.
Probably.
My guess is maybe they'll have it pop out of the trunk or something. They'll have it hidden away, and then when you need to, you can throw it up. So you probably have to park for it or something, and all that good stuff.
yeah. I don't know.
I feel like that takes away like half of the like practicality of it though. Like, because for me, like Tesla's cars are like super short distances no matter what. Like, you have to stay in town. If you take a long trip, you're gonna have to stop for like 7 hours to charge the car. But if you could throw panels on top of the car so that like while you're driving, obviously it's not going to charge your car while you're driving, but you save that extra 5 miles every 20 minutes, you could go quite a bit farther.
Yeah.
So
When Tesla is not to be promoting, but they make it somewhere close to 300 miles to the charge, and on the superchargers, you can get them charged up in an hour. So you can make it to Salt Lake, charge while you eat, and then you have another 300 miles.
if you want to go anywhere like LA, you have to like go to Vegas, charge there, then detour because there's not another one, like another panel from Vegas to LA. So you have to detour to a different route,
They're
charge
not one in
there.
Barstow? I'm sure Barstow would have one, no?
Nope. My grandparents and uncle did it like 2 years ago, and there wasn't.
Oh, there might be one now, though.
Well, maybe.
Because they're building them all over the place now.
Yeah. I mean, if I would go build a gas station, I would go put in a set of charging stations. I mean, that's in today's environment, you're going to make not as much with the charging stations, but you're going to get people inside and buy all the crap and food or whatever you have inside the store.
There's an exit like 10 miles south of Cedar, between Cedar and St. George. They've got
Yeah.
like 20 Tesla stations. Like,
Yeah.
what?
And they're always full, always.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. I don't feel like that's the location, but apparently it is.
Because there's not anything till St. George.
That's not the only thing though too. In St. George, you have to come off the freeway like 15, 20, or not 15, 20 miles, but like a 10-minute drive off the freeway. Whereas there, it's like right off the freeway. You get off, charge it, get back on, kind of thing.
And then you can finish that drive into Vegas and charge there.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Also, the self-driving feature? That's one of the things the past predicted about the future, self-driving cars. Tesla, first people to semi-successfully do that. I'm not really up to date on where they're at on that. But it's a membership thing now. Like you can buy a Tesla, but it won't have the self-driving feature. You got to pay like $400 or $500 a year. They got like DLC packs for cars now.
I didn't know that. I knew that they had like completed it and like it was up and running. I didn't know that. I think the reason they probably did that is because of how many like incidents they had. They did they didn't want people who weren't going to be using it responsibly to have it.
Well, for it to work, you had to like every like 10, 15 seconds, you had to like put a little pressure on the wheel to make it to show that you're not sleeping. Because if not, it would like pull you over and safely pull you over and whatnot. But
I've seen
Yeah.
people that like get like little weights and like put a string on them so they can hang it on the wheel just to get around that.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I mean, GM's come out with what they call their Super Cruise or whatever. That's basically a self-driving.
it's like the ultimate lane assist.
Yeah, like it. Basically, you can let go of the wheel and it keeps you in. I mean, even like with my truck, I can put lane assist on. It'll basically drive me straight the whole time. It just won't change lanes or anything.
right.
But like with that Super Cruise, like it'll change lanes and stuff on the freeway and like adjust your speed and whatnot.
Yeah, does your truck have that cruise control where you can set your follow distance too?
No, mine's not that fancy.
Oh, okay. The like 2020 and on Rav4s, they have that with the lane assist. So like, I'd be in LA traffic, set my cruise control to like 70, and I'd just be going through stop and go traffic. And whenever there was enough room for me to get going faster, and get me going faster, and if not, it just have me like staying 6 feet behind the other dude. And then I do that lane assist, and you just have to like keep one finger on it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how the sensor works, but it was like barely anything. It's like, all right, there we. All right, well, let's move on. Second one, glass domed houses. I'm just thinking about St. George in the summertime, and that sounds miserable.
Oh yeah.
Freaking,
I think
hey, magnifying glass. What
I
are you
think
guys?
also privacy probably pulled us away from that one. So.
Yeah,
I think if you could like temperature regulate it, it would be fine though. Because like
Yeah.
you think about your house, and if you got a lot of windows, it's warmer next to the windows. But you just throw curtains up, and
Yeah.
you're fine. You can regulate the temperature inside. I think it's fine.
have you had that auto tint glass?
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
reading was 10.
Would that be something you guys would invest in? Desirable at all?
No, I think that's overrated.
I don't think enough people would be interested in it for the amount of money you'd put into it.
And I just feel like unless you always had the curtain closed, in which case there's no reason to have a house like that. You're just living in a fishbowl, you know?
Yeah.
You're living your life and everyone can see it happening.
Right. I think it per house is a little overkill. Because like I'm sure they've thought about doing like cities, like utopia cities, where it's like the middle of the desert, and then also there's this huge dome, and it's like a city inside. That would make more sense to me than just individual houses.
Yeah.
Mainly probably because I'm a big Star Wars guy, and Mandalore in the Clone Wars was in a big dome, and so maybe I just like it from that. But
It gives me like Lorax vibes, you know? Like everything in it
Yeah.
is food. Like it got their
Yeah.
fake trees and fake grass.
But again, if you can control the temperature and almost like the weather, like the Truman Show, it'd be like the Truman Show.
Yeah. Yeah.
He lives in a giant dome in the middle of Hollywood, something like that, where they control the weather. That I wouldn't be opposed to that. That'd be kind of cool because then you can have fair weather all the time.
That sounds
mean-
like something they do in Dubai, honestly.
Oh yeah,
I mean, besides like the physical or the physical repercussions of that, not like actually being out in the sun and having a fake sun on. Like you'd have to go outside or take like supplements for stuff that you're missing out from like actual weather and nature. So, but I mean, that's about the biggest downside.
If it's a dome, you probably still get the UV and vitamin D coming in from it, but
Good.
like potentially. But I feel like that would just weaken your immune system because like it wouldn't have to fight off as much.
but I mean, if they're at that point where they can build a dome that big that sustains life and they can control the temperature and the weather, I'm sure
They can figure it out.
they've got that figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a supplement thing or you get like a shot in the morning when you leave your house, like in the Giver or something, I'm sure they'd figure it out. Yeah, or they just pump it in. I wouldn't be too worried about it. We like living in space.
If the choice to travel to space, like let's say there's a Mars colony, it starts up kind of like Passengers, you know, would you guys take that?
Hell no. Sorry, no.
No,
Sorry, Tanner.
I wouldn't. It's a one-way ticket to death, and even if the death isn't bad, you're still gonna die before you can come back.
Being born is a one-way ticket to death. It's gonna happen to all of us.
Death and taxes.
But when you think about it, like you're going, like if they sent like mansions with you and like places to live and everything like that, cool. But no, you're gonna be going to build for the future. Like you're not actually gonna be just chilling, surviving. You would be there, and they'd be like, "All right, let's build a colony. All right, let's build a city. All right, let's like." It would just be nonstop until there's like an actual civilization there, and you hit the point where you can actually relax.
Well, I look at it like the explorers that come to the Americas and stuff. Like it's that's the same thing. They didn't know what they were getting into. Like
Yeah,
when they showed up, especially like Lewis and Clark, like going further west, like this is a totally different like ecosystem out here compared to what they knew in Europe or even on the East Coast. And I feel like it's the same thing. Like you'll have people that want to go out and venture and be the pioneers and make it happen. And then there's going to be people that are fine following behind. So it's just kind of I look at it that way too. And I see it like we know more about space than we do the oceans. Like it's just a learning curve, just like everything else in history.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got like an Americans in the Outdoors class, and we're talking about like, uh, don't laugh at that.
Oh, I'm gonna laugh at it.
Well, my professor, he like his family owned this property, like a couple acres, however big it was, and there was like a sinkhole on the property, and like it opened up into this underground cavern, and so like he and some buddies rappelled down into it, and he was like, "That is the one and only time that I have ever been anywhere and known I was the first person there," and that's a cool thought, you know, because like Alaska, there's potential, like yeah, you could potentially hike into somewhere in Alaska that nobody's been before, but that sounds like a crazy adventure to me.
Yeah. And again, like back to like the dome thing. If we got the technology to get there and get there safely, I'm sure that landing there would be like going to like a resort. It wouldn't be like 5-star Cabo resort, but I don't think it'd be horrible if we got the technology to get there. I believe in
Right.
I believe in Daddy Elon.
I believe that we could get there. I don't know. I feel like in our lifetime, it wouldn't be fun when you're there.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's not going to be our lifetime to even get there yet.
Yeah, I think the first couple waves would be like entire like soldiers, just people trying to build a camp, make sure it's livable. Soldiers and scientists, really,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be
Find the
very
aliens.
very structured. But then like once you got to the point where there were domes and like actual communities, that's the part where it would get cool. You know, like once they start handing out like pistols and stuff, so you can go
Yeah.
shooting.
I mean, like if Matt Damon can survive on Mars, I think we all can, right?
Alien hunting.
I mean, have you watched his track record? He survives every time he gets left. Well, next thing coming back to Earth, kind of jetpacks.
I mean, they kind of have it out.
Mm-hmm.
Do people like die from them more often than not? Probably. But do we have jetpacks? Yeah.
I don't think we have like the typical Hollywood style jetpack, but we have the ones where it's like they got the stuff on their arms and they're like, but not like the fire coming out of like a backpack type
I
thing.
mean,
It says jetpack mailman. Where am I?
yeah.
So,
Jetpack mailman.
so like to the
Well-
point where it can be used in everyday life to make a job easier.
Well, and I look at like those. Oh, what are they called? You can hook them to watercraft, and it sucks in the
Oh,
water
yeah.
through the motor, and then it blows out. You have it strapped to your feet. It's
Yeah.
like a board. What the heck is those called?
Hydro
Whatever
tube?
those-
Hydrofoil?
Yeah, no, it's not a foil. It's a
No, the foil's the surfboard you can bounce on and
yeah.
it keep up above the water. This one, oh, they're so epic. I want to try one.
But
Imagine,
they're so much fun.
have you done it?
Oh, I've done it. Yeah, it's so much fun.
Wait,
Especially you start low and then you shoot up and then you just twist your feet and you just go in a circle. Doing a backflip's actually super easy on it.
so what if you got pointed down and you're just like
Oh,
it's propelling you
you can
downward?
go under the water and go under the water and be going under the water like that the whole time. I mean,
Well, I know you can. So like if I'm pointed down and I need to come back up, but I can't steer myself up, what is going to bring me up?
your life jacket, if you just gotta let whoever's operating the throttle's gonna just let off, so then you can kind of float back up.
I'm trusting someone else with this throttle.
Yeah,
Holy!
you're not running the throttle because what happens is you have a big fire hose.
Oh, they're the ones pushing the jet ski. That's the throttle, right?
Yeah, that's how the water gets pumped. Is you get a coupling and you hook it onto the end. So the way that like a jet ski works is it sucks water in one side and then blows it out, and that's how it pushes it. Is the water blowing out pushes it. So they do is they put the output, they hook it on with that hose, and then they run the hose to the board, and then it comes out the board.
Okay.
So it's still the motor on the jet ski still works the same, but the jet ski just won't move because the water is
Pushing into a tube.
hmm And how you move the jet skis, you just have whoever's on the board. You just basically drag the jet ski behind you. Is basically all that happens.
So was there like a learning curve to it, or did you feel pretty in control when you first stepped on it?
There's a little bit of a learning curve, especially like to do what you want and like turn your feet a certain way and like do stuff you actually want. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun.
Is it similar to like anything else? Or is it like completely a whole new thing? Or could you compare it to like longboarding, skateboarding type of idea?
About the closest thing I can come up with is like those hoverboards, not like the one wheels, but like a normal like hoverboard like we have. That's how the board reacts. Is you tilt your foot one way and then you turn, you put pressure on the other foot and you turn the other way. That's how it works. Is it's hooked together and then it just rotates in the middle. That's about the closest thing I can think of.
Sign me up. Where do I get in the water?
How much are they?
They're pretty expensive. So
Were you guys just renting them, or did you know someone that owned one?
no, I knew somebody that had one. I was out at Lake Powell. I knew somebody that had one, and we were trying it out.
That's so sick. Yeah, that's probably the closest thing we've got to the jetpack experience. Have you guys ever done the indoor skydiving?
Yeah.
Is it comparable to that? That's like kind of the closest thing I would think of it. No?
Completely different. They're completely different.
Okay.
Because indoor skydiving, it's they have the wind tunnel going, and they can control your height with that, whatever. But you can also control it just like normal skydiving with your feet. If
like,
you have your legs more straight out, you'll go up more. If you have them more bent, you'll drop. Yeah, those are two different. They're two different things.
Okay.
I've
That's
only
sick.
want to go like actual skydiving, but
Let's book it out. Moab.
there we go.
That gets my heart going just thinking about it. We don't jump into that though.
So much fun.
Anyways, next one we're going to talk about is the wristwatch TV, which I feel like is pretty similar to what most of us got on. The Apple Watch is, I don't know. Do you guys feel like your watch does everything you want it to do? Or if it could like play videos or whatever else, would you find that desirable?
I feel like it works pretty well. I mean, but to watch like a show on it, I think would be annoying because it's like this little of a screen. Like you're not gonna see like anything. I mean, even on your phone, sometimes it's like I can't see jack squat on here.
I'm trying to think if it would be nice if you're like doing a DIY thing, if you could like have it on your watch and be able to like see it while you're doing it. But like you can also do it with your phone, so it's not like it's a huge deal. But like
If you're like underneath a car and you're like,
that's what I was just thinking. Like you're like, hold on, like what do I? Okay, cool. That would be nice. But it would be nice if like theoretically you could like have this, and when it was going into a mode like that, it would like shift into two screens or like kind of like expand so you could see it.
Hologram it.
6 or so years back, I was seeing this Kickstarter project for a phone, and it was like a wristband, and then it would project the phone. It had like a bunch of tiny projectors across the bottom. It would project it down on your forearm, and then like wherever your finger touches, it stops the light, so it senses wherever you're touching, so it still functions just like a touch screen. I was like, that is sick.
It's a pretty good idea.
That's going somewhere.
That'd be cool.
You know something that's kind of cool? Shout out to my old roommate. He was developing something that you could like wear when you slept, and it had a bunch of different functions. Like he would like match the brainwave patterns, so you could like increase your deep sleep. You could like just make your sleep healthier, or he made it so that you could like have lucid dreams. So like if you like, you would like put it on around your forehead like for 10-15 minutes before you slept, it would increase the stimulation that your brain needed to sleep, and then you could like go to sleep and you had an increased chance of having lucid dreams.
That sounds a little too close to a couple of ghost stories I actually believe in. So I'm not gonna dive into that one too much. That's trippy though.
Yeah.
If you could force a deep sleep, that would be sick.
It couldn't like force a deep sleep, but if your body was sleeping, then you could like,
It would just help deepen it.
yeah, it would instead of, do you guys know about like the different waves in sleep?
I know about REM.
So yeah, there's REM, which is the highest, like most like volatile, but less like, what is that called? Has the least, not frequency, but amplitude. So REM's like the fastest frequency, lowest amplitude. Then there's things called delta waves, which are common in deep sleep. So like what it would do is it would play like an order of like different vibrations straight like to your temples. So then when you're preparing to go to sleep, that frequency is already running through your brain, and then you'd just be able to go to sleep easier, and you'd be able to like just sleep better. I never got to use it. I like low key, whenever we go up to visit my in-laws, I'm tempted to hit them up and be like, yo, remember how you said I could try this whenever I wanted? Like, I'd be down. But he had I'm not going to say that. He had a deal with a big company that back at the time they were trying to figure out how to like, they were trying to go a different way with it. But then that like convinced him to turn it into headphones instead of like a headgear piece. It's just going to be like headphones that kind of work that way.
Yo, people be doing crazy stuff with inventions. Not me. I'm like, this would be so cool. I was watching this video the other day. This comedian, he's talking about, he was like, if I were to get dropped back into like the 1900s or the 1800s, I would not be able to prove that I was from the future. Like his whole piece, he's like, you're like, oh yeah, you guys just invented the telephone. Yeah, someday they're going to be about this big, and you'll be able to slip them in your pocket, and you can call anyone you want anywhere in the world. And they're going to be like, well, how does that work? And you're like, satellites. What's a satellite?
Just does.
Man, I shouldn't have said nothing about satellites. And he's like, they draw me in a loony bin. I would have, like, because like, well, how does that work? And they're like, okay, well, if you really are from the future, who's going to be the next president of the United States? I'm like,
Ronald Reagan.
I don't know
Yeah,
that.
unless you're a history buff, you're
I don't
screwed.
know any of the presidents. I would have, like, I think about this way too often. If you were dropped into the 1850s and you had to prove you were from the future, and you can't do any research other than what's in your head right now, would you be able to prove it?
Ah, slaves.
1850s?
Yeah, 1850s. Slavery got abolished 1865. Is that the 13th Amendment?
Yes, it's the 13th.
So what are you going to say? You're like, there's going to be an uprising.
The Union split, come back.
Tanner would be the reason that...
No. See, Tanner's gonna pull out his third grade "Give Me Liberty" like learnings, and and he's gonna recite the
Gettysburg
Lincoln's-
Address.
Lincoln's Gettysburg
Nah.
Address.
I'm just gonna. I'll attack Abe Lincoln before he goes to the play. That way, he lives and alter history.
Or just go get John Wilkes Booth first.
That's true. Or become Abe Lincoln's guard and not get distracted. See him come in, tackle him. I become a war hero and I save the president. I'm big statue built of me, but I go by a different name.
Here's the thing: they wouldn't do that. One, because they wouldn't want people to know that people were threatening the life of the president, and two, because you weren't the president.
But I saved him,
Then where would the Lincoln Memorial be, huh?
and we wouldn't have it. You're right.
Exactly.
I tackled John Wilkes Booth, and I'm the one that pulls the gun. There we go. Then I jump down and I scream something, and then I run away,
What did you scream, Tanner?
and then it's me. I don't know. It was
I
something
can't.
with
I
French.
can't pronounce it. It's in Latin.
Oh, it was Latin. Oh,
It's Latin.
I don't know. I'd probably scream YOLO. I'd scream YOLO and book it.
What is this YOLO you speak of?
I'm just picturing Tanner getting dropped back in the 1950s and be like, listen, there's going to be a civil rights movement, there's going to be a war, and slavery is going to be abolished. And then he's going to say it to all the wrong people. Like, he's going to be...
He's gonna be in the South.
and they're going to get ahead of it, and Tanner Davis is going to read slavery sticks around.
Let's go. Just flip sides. Like, yeah, I'm the Confederate general. I know what they did to win.
No, I feel like best case scenario for Tanner at least would be bringing up something about Hitler. Like, listen, dude, just gotta
I'm
put
gonna
him through.
travel to Germany.
Just let it go. Bring another guy along soon enough.
I'd be dead by that time. That's almost 100 years later.
Listen, I ain't the history buff. That's Colby. Clearly,
I guess-
I would
Oh
not.
no!
be
If I
Tanner.
catch him in World War One, boom, that's when I catch him.
Yeah,
That's got to wait 60 years.
instead of letting him get away with surviving mustard gas, actually make it kill him.
No. I'd get him accepted into art school. There we go.
There you. That would solve all the
World
problems.
saved.
Save us from this long book called Mein Kampf that doesn't make any sense.
Have you read it?
I've read bits and parts. It doesn't make any sense.
Interesting.
What was that book called?
Mein Kampf. MEINKO.
MPH or
Yeah,
PF. Sorry.
German.
Well, anyways, forget about trying to prove you're from the future. What do you guys think is going to be in the future, or what would you like to see in the future?
Lightsabers,
That's a
ones that
that's a
actually
good
work.
one.
Not
That's
like Hacksmith. I mean, Hacksmith is wonderful, but like the Star Wars accurate on my hip, pull it out, boom,
Actually works like
sign me up.
What keeps the light from going farther? You know, why can't people just get a little extendo on their lightsaber? Like, if I my switch, be able to change my length size. You know?
Short sword, long sword.
Yeah.
You know, Darren,
They
it's
have
kind
that.
of like something else. You can't really change it. You're kind of just born with it, so you got to live with it.
I don't know. In my experience, they change sizes.
I'm talking about feet here, people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're smaller when you're younger, and then you grow into your big boy shoes.
You know what they say about big feet, Darren? Big
Big
socks.
No, something I want to see in the future is teleportation.
That'd be a good one.
My whole life, if I could have chosen a superpower, that's it. It's like, I got so many things I want to see, and I just don't have the money for it. Also, I'm chronically 10 to 15 minutes late. You know? If I could be 2 minutes away from whenever I need to be somewhere, and be like, boop, and then just show up there, then Colby would still say I was late. But
Yeah.
be a lot closer on time than I usually am.
You're on time to normal people standards and not my standards.
Yeah. I feel like there's a good 50% that says, like, minimum 5 minutes early.
I'm usually 15 to 10 minutes early.
Yeah.
I'm just inconsistent.
You know, being on time's a hard habit to get into. But once you're into it, like Colby, I feel like you would struggle so much to physically be late.
Like when I try to be late to church, so I have to pass the sacrament at a singles ward. It is so hard for me to sit there and wait until like 9:55, and it's a 10-minute drive to church, just to show up 5 minutes late. I physically can't make myself do it. I
Can't you
leave.
sit in the parking lot?
I leave early to go to church, and I sit in my truck, and I'm still early when I walk in because I physically can't make myself be late. I physically can't do it. I try so hard, and I can't do it.
Tough.
I wish I had that problem.
I guess it's a better problem than the other side, but I can see how the other side has problems being on time when they're consistently late. But I don't know.
It's honestly just the same mentality that you have. Like when you see it's a 10-minute drive, I need to be there in 30 minutes. I'm gonna leave in 10 minutes. You know, so like leave in 10 minutes, 10-minute drive, you're 10 minutes early. You know, that just maths out for you as soon as you look at the clock. For me, I'm like, oh, it's a 30-minute drive. I probably have time to donate a BioLife. Even though I know that I'm gonna be there a minimum of an hour and 15. Plus time. And I'm like, it'll fit.
That's not even how I see it. I just I look at it and I'm like, okay, so it's a 15-minute drive to work. Cool. I have 40 minutes. That means I have another 10 minutes to not do anything. And then by the time I'm like, okay, I need to leave, then I'm like, oh shoot, I need to grab my keys. Oh shoot, I need to put on my shoes. Oh shoot, and 5 minutes goes by and it's like, well, I'm gonna be late. You know?
I'm gonna drive fast.
But yeah, by the time it's I need to be leaving, I'm like, okay, everything that I need to do to leave, I need to do. And then it's like, should have been doing that 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's tough. How about you, Matt? If you could have anything invented in the future, what would it be?
See, here's something that I've thought of, but I don't know how it would work. You know how 1960s it is to have people dying in wars, and how it would be nice if people just didn't die when you went to war? It'd be cool if you could just create robots that people could fight in, if that makes sense. And then it's just oh, you lost. But then I know that people would just be like, oh shoot, our robots are losing. Let's just nuke Nom. You know, I know it wouldn't work, but it'd be cool to see a way to create warfare so that humanity is still accepting of its results, but without people actually dying.
So like a droid army, like the Separatists, droid army.
Kinda, but
Like a remote control droid. So it's not an AI?
yeah. So it's still soldiers. It sounds really weird, but it's people who are professional esports players are now the new soldiers that are controlling these droids to go fight battles. But
I understand the mentality, but that sounds
far-fetched. Yeah,
like a video game. It sounds like
the
an
metaverse.
game. No, I'm talking Spy Kids. You got your robot suit and everything, you know? Good old Judy Cortez. That is epic. I would love that. But if someone killed me in that, and then I would just be like, well, game over. I lose. Never playing this again. That's essentially what you're saying with war, right? Where if you
Yeah,
die,
they just have to kind of accept defeat, but that's not gonna be how things happen.
yeah.
Or have you guys ever? I guess this is different, but have you heard of Ender's Game? If anyone wants to read the book, don't listen to this part because it's kind of the end and spoils the rest of the book. At the end, they're like, we're gonna put you through a series of test practices so that we can know if you're ready for war. But the entire time he's using actual people and controlling actual warships and stuff like that, something like that, but without people.
So like in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, at the very end when they're trying to kill Ego, and the gold people come in, but they're just droned pilots, and they're back on their home world flying them that way.
Yeah.
That is really just a battle over materials, right? Because however many drones you can afford to build, you can send those up to battle against someone else. And then there's the zero risk as far as human life is concerned. But whoever has the upper hand on the drone army is able to inflict whatever they want on the other country or other their group.
Right.
At least then people aren't dying just to flex someone's muscles, you know?
I think kind of a combo trick shot of that is possible in the future. There's probably already lots of drones being used in combat, and I'm sure that'll continue to progress. And I'm not sure to what level. Like I know, like aircraft, definitely. I don't know how much, like not really foot soldiers, but like I don't know. I'm sure we'll see more of that in the future.
Another thing that I know is like happening, but like is super cool to me is like sound weapons, if that makes sense. I guess yeah, kind of sonar weapons, because they have that for like submarines where they can like sink a submarine with vibrations. But there's also like stuff where people are developing like super high pitched noises that like tear out the eardrum. It's like a, what is that called? Not a concussive grenade, but like it's kind of like that concept, but it's like a gun that like you can pull the trigger and it like emits that kind of vibrations, and then people will just wear protection that'll protect them from it. I think that's super cool.
Well, I basically just said I really have no idea what any of that is, but sounds pretty cool.
That's like the new wave of warfare that's like people are trying to develop to outsmart people, I guess. I don't know. That's just what I've heard.
Well, Tanner, Colby, you guys have anything else you're looking to see in the future, or are all of our good brain juices tapped out?
It's tapped out.
Lightsabers and jetpacks, man. Jedi Mandalorian. That's what I'm shooting for. I already got the helmet. I'm good to go.
There you go.
There it is. Right on. Well, if you guys have any more good brain juices going on in your head, and you have any good ideas, drop it in the comments so that someone smarter than us can see it and get busy on that invention. But I think that's all we got for you guys. Till next time. Peace.
Adios.
Bye.